The incredible story of Jacob, wrestling with God, walking with destiny. In the tapestry of human experience, few narratives capture the essence of life's journey as poignantly as the story of Jacob. It's a tale woven with threads of struggle, redemption, and transformation, an odyssey that resonates with the perpetual quest for identity and meaning. As we embark on this exploration of Jacob's life, we are invited to reflect on our own pathways, to consider the dreams that shape us and the destinies we dare to embrace. Jacob's story unfolds in the ancient world, yet its themes echo across the millennia, speaking to the core of our existence. It is a saga of family dynamics, fraught with rivalry and reconciliation, of divine encounters that challenge and change us. At its heart, it is a journey of becoming, of stepping into who we are meant to be, even when the way forward is obscured by uncertainty and strife. From the moment of his birth, Jacob's life is marked by struggle. He grapples with his brother Esau, seizing the birthright that sets the stage for a lifetime of conflict and blessing. This pivotal act sets him on a path of both challenge and promise, as he navigates the complexities of family, faith, and the divine. Yet within these struggles lies the potential for profound transformation. Jacob's encounters with the divine are moments of revelation, where the veil between heaven and earth is momentarily lifted, and he is given glimpses of a destiny far greater than he could have imagined. These encounters are not mere visions, they are catalysts for change, urging him to wrestle with his own limitations and to embrace a new identity. As we delve into Jacob's journey, we find ourselves mirrored in his experiences. His story invites us to consider the ladders of our own lives, those moments of ascent where we touch the divine and are called to become more than we are. It asks us to wrestle with our own fears and failures, to seek reconciliation, and to renew our promises, not just to others but to ourselves. In embracing the call of destiny, we, like Jacob, may discover the true meaning of our dreams. Number 1. The Birthright and the Blessing. A tale of rivalry and redemption. The story of Jacob and Esau is one of the most profound narratives of sibling rivalry and the quest for identity and purpose. It begins with a prophecy given to Rebekah, their mother, that 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. 1 people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. Genesis. From the outset, we see that Jacob and Esau's destinies are intertwined with divine purpose. Esau, the firstborn, was entitled to the birthright, a double portion of the inheritance and the leadership of the family. Yet in a moment of impulsive hunger, he traded this precious birthright to Jacob for a simple meal of bread and lentil stew. Genesis 20. This transaction, while seemingly trivial, set the stage for a greater unfolding of God's plan. It wasn't just about the physical inheritance. It was about the spiritual legacy that would shape the future of a nation. The rivalry between the brothers reached its peak when Jacob, with the help of his mother Rebekah, deceived his father Isaac into bestowing the blessing meant for Esau upon him. Disguised as Esau, Jacob received the blessing of abundance and dominion. Genesis 27:27-29. A moment that marked a turning point in his life. Although the means were deceptive, the outcome was part of a divine design that would eventually lead to Jacob's transformation. Esau's reaction was one of bitterness and anger, and he vowed to kill Jacob once their father passed away. Genesis 27:41. It was a moment of deep family division, yet within this strife lay the seeds of redemption and reconciliation. Jacob's journey was just beginning, and it was a journey that would take him from fear and flight to a place of meeting God face to face. This tale of rivalry is not just about deception and conflict. It is about the mysterious ways in which God works through human frailty and failure to fulfill his promises. Jacob's story reminds us that our shortcomings do not disqualify us from God's grace. Instead, they often become the very platform upon which redemption is built. Through Jacob's life, we learn that the birthright and the blessing are not only about what we inherit, but about who we become in the process. As we reflect on Jacob and Esau, we are invited to consider the areas in our own lives where rivalry and resentment might be hindering our spiritual growth. Is there a birthright we have neglected, a blessing we have pursued through less than honorable means? In turning to God, we find not only forgiveness but also the courage to embrace our true calling, just as Jacob eventually did. This part of the journey teaches us that redemption is always within reach, and that our identity in God is our greatest inheritance. Number 2, the ladder of heaven, a vision of promise and divine presence. In the quiet solitude of the wilderness, as darkness enveloped the earth and stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Jacob found himself alone, weary from his journey. He had left Beersheba and was on his way to Haran, fleeing from the wrath of his brother Esau, after securing both the birthright and the blessing. It was during this time of uncertainty and fear that Jacob laid his head down on a stone and drifted into a sleep that would change the course of his life forever. As he slept, Jacob dreamt of a ladder reaching from earth to heaven. This was no ordinary ladder, but one upon which angels of God ascended and descended. Genesis 28:12. It was a vision that bridged the gap between the earthly and the divine, a connection between the mortal realm and the eternal. In this awe-inspiring moment, the Lord stood above the ladder and spoke to Jacob, reaffirming the promise made to his grandfather Abraham and his father Isaac. "I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying." Genesis 28:13. The words of God resonated deeply within Jacob's soul, offering a profound sense of comfort and assurance. Despite his past actions and the turmoil that had ensued, the promise of divine presence and guidance was unequivocal. God assured Jacob that his descendants would be as numerous as the dust of the earth, and that through him and his offspring, all the families of the earth would be blessed. Genesis 28:14. This was not merely a promise of land or prosperity, but a covenant of divine purpose and destiny. In that sacred encounter, Jacob awoke with a new understanding of God's presence in his life. "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it," he exclaimed, filled with awe and reverence. Genesis. The very ground he lay upon became a holy site which he named Bethel, meaning house of God. Jacob's response to this divine revelation was to set up the stone he had used as a pillow, as a pillar, and pour oil upon it, consecrating the spot as a symbol of his commitment to the God who had promised to watch over him. This vision of the ladder to heaven is a powerful reminder of the accessibility of God's presence in our lives. It speaks to the reality that even in moments of solitude, fear, and transition, we are not alone. God is actively involved in the tapestry of our lives, weaving together our past, present, and future with threads of promise and hope. Jacob's experience invites us to reflect on our own journeys and to consider the ways in which we may encounter God in the ordinary and extraordinary moments of life. It encourages us to trust in the promises that have been spoken over us, to recognize the divine presence that walks with us, and to embrace the destiny that is uniquely ours. Just as Jacob was transformed by his vision, we too can be assured that God is with us, guiding us toward the fulfillment of our own dreams and destinies. Number 3, wrestling with God, a night of transformation and a new identity. The story of Jacob wrestling with God is one of the most profound narratives of personal transformation found in the scriptures. It takes place during a pivotal moment in Jacob's life, when he is on the brink of reuniting with his brother Esau, whom he had wronged years before. This encounter with the divine happens in the solitude of the night, a time when Jacob is left alone with his thoughts, fears, and hopes for the future. As we read in Genesis 32:24-28, Jacob is left alone, and a mysterious man wrestles with him until daybreak. This is no ordinary struggle, it is a spiritual and physical battle that symbolizes Jacob's inner turmoil and quest for blessing. In the darkness, Jacob holds on with all his might, refusing to let go until he receives a blessing. This persistence reflects a deep yearning for change and a desire to confront his past and redefine his future. The moment is transformative. As dawn approaches, the man touches the socket of Jacob's hip, wrenching it out of place. Despite the pain, Jacob clings to the man, showing his determination and resilience. The man asks Jacob his name, and upon hearing it declares, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans, and have overcome." Genesis, this new name, Israel, means he struggles with God, and signifies a new identity and a fresh beginning for Jacob. This encounter is not just about physical strength, but about the transformation of character. Jacob's new name marks a turning point in his life, signifying his growth from a man who once deceived his brother to one who has faced the divine and emerged changed. The limp Jacob carries from that night serves as a reminder of his encounter with God, a physical mark of his spiritual journey. The story invites us to reflect on our own struggles and the moments when we wrestle with our fears, doubts, and the call of destiny. It reassures us that even in our darkest hours, transformation is possible. Through perseverance and faith, we can emerge with a new sense of purpose and identity, just as Jacob did. This narrative speaks to the heart of what it means to embrace our own journey. It teaches us that our struggles can lead to profound change, and that in our moments of wrestling, we find the seeds of our true self. Jacob's encounter with God is a powerful reminder that we are not defined by our past, but by our willingness to confront it and seek a new path forward. Number 4. The heart of forgiveness. Reunion and reconciliation with Esau. In the tapestry of Jacob's life, one of the most profound moments comes when he faces the brother from whom he had been estranged for so many years. The story of Jacob and Esau is one of deep-seated rivalry, where deceit had driven a wedge between the twins, leading Jacob to flee for his life after stealing Esau's blessing. Yet as the years passed, Jacob found himself yearning for reconciliation, a testament to the enduring power of forgiveness and the healing it can bring. The narrative reaches its emotional peak when Jacob, after years of wandering and growth, prepares to meet Esau. Fearful of his brother's wrath, he sends ahead gifts, hoping to appease him. But what unfolds is a scene filled with grace and unexpected warmth. As described in Genesis 33:4, "But Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept." This moment is not just a reunion of brothers, but a powerful testament to the possibility of forgiveness and the joy it can bring to the human heart. Jacob's journey towards this reconciliation was not just a physical one, but also a spiritual and emotional transformation. He wrestled with his past and with God, emerging with a new identity and a heart prepared for healing. This encounter with Esau demonstrates that time and divine intervention can mend even the deepest of rifts. It's a reminder that forgiveness is not just about letting go of past grievances, but also about embracing the love and peace that follows. In Jacob's humble approach to Esau, we see the power of vulnerability. Approaching his brother, Jacob bows 7 times, a gesture of deep respect and repentance. Genesis 33. This humility opens the door for Esau's gracious response. The tears they shed together are not just of relief, but of mutual understanding, and the recognition of their shared journey, a journey that had carried them both through their own trials and brought them back to each other. As we reflect on this story, it invites us to consider the estranged relationships in our own lives. Are there bridges we need to build, apologies waiting to be made, or forgiveness we need to offer? Jacob and Esau's reconciliation reminds us that it is never too late to reach out. to heal and to restore. The heart of forgiveness lies in our willingness to be open and vulnerable, to extend grace even when it feels undeserved. In embracing this path, we find not only the possibility of renewed relationships, but also the profound peace that comes from living in harmony with those around us. Jacob's journey shows us that reconciliation is not just a destination, but a transformative process that enriches every aspect of our lives. May we all find the courage to seek out our own reunions, to forgive, and to embrace the healing power of reconciliation, following the enduring example set by Jacob and Esau. Number 5. The promise renewed. Building altars and walking in faith. In the narrative of Jacob's life, there comes a moment when the weight of divine promise and personal transformation converges in a profound act of faith. This moment is marked by the renewal of God's covenant with Jacob and the symbolic act of building altars. As we delve into this chapter, we find ourselves exploring not just the physical journey Jacob undertakes, but also the spiritual journey that redefines his relationship with God. After the bittersweet reunion with his brother Esau, Jacob is instructed by God to return to Bethel, the place where he first encountered the divine in a dream of angels ascending and descending a ladder to heaven. Genesis. This command is not just a directive to go back to a geographical location. It is a call to return to the foundational moment of his spiritual awakening. At Bethel, Jacob had vowed that if God kept him safe on his journey and provided for his needs, he would dedicate his life to the Lord. Genesis. Now, years later, God calls Jacob to fulfill this vow by building an altar, a tangible acknowledgement of God's faithfulness and a personal recommitment to walk in faith. Jacob responds with obedience. He instructs his household to put away foreign gods, purify themselves, and change their garments, signifying a preparation for a sacred encounter. Genesis 3. This act of cleansing parallels our own need to strip away the distractions and false idols that can cloud our relationship with the divine, reminding us of the importance of approaching God with sincerity and devotion. As Jacob and his family journey to Bethel, a sense of reverence and anticipation fills the air. Upon arrival, Jacob builds an altar and names the place El Bethel, meaning God of Bethel, acknowledging the divine presence that has guided and protected him throughout his life. Genesis 3. In this act, we see a beautiful expression of gratitude and recognition that despite the trials and tribulations, God's promises remain steadfast. It's at Bethel that God appears to Jacob once more, reaffirming his covenant and changing Jacob's name to Israel, signifying a new identity and destiny. Genesis 35:9 turn. This moment is a powerful reminder that in our journey of faith, God continually calls us to renewal and transformation. He invites us to shed our old selves and embrace the new creation we become in his presence. As we reflect on Jacob's experience at Bethel, we are encouraged to consider our own spiritual altars. Where do we encounter God in our lives? How do we commemorate his faithfulness and renew our commitment to walk in faith? Building altars, whether literal or metaphorical, becomes an act of remembrance and dedication, anchoring our lives in the promises of God. In this chapter of Jacob's journey, we learn that walking in faith is a dynamic and ongoing process. It involves a willingness to return to the sacred moments where God meets us, to purify our hearts, and to renew our vows of faithfulness. As we build our altars and embrace the call of destiny, we step forward with the assurance that God walks with us, guiding us toward the fulfillment of his promises. Number 6. The legacy of love and loss. Rachel's passing and the sons of Israel. In the tapestry of life, moments of joy and sorrow often weave together to create a legacy that shapes the future. For Jacob, the journey was marked by profound love and heartbreaking loss. And nowhere is this more evident than in the story of Rachel's passing. Rachel, the beloved wife of Jacob, had been the desire of his heart from the moment he first saw her. Her presence in his life was a testament to love's enduring strength, even in the face of trials and tribulation. Jacob's years of labor for Laban were a testament to his devotion, as he worked tirelessly for the chance to marry Rachel. Genesis 29:20. Their love story, filled with longing and perseverance, was one of the most poignant narratives in Jacob's journey. Yet as the family continued their journey, the pain of loss was not far behind. Rachel's passing came as she gave birth to her second son, Benjamin. It was a moment of both joy and deep sorrow. As she labored, Rachel named her son Benoni, meaning son of my sorrow. But Jacob, in an act of hope and faith, called him Benjamin, son of the right hand. Genesis 35:18. This duality of names reflects the bittersweet reality of life, where joy and grief often coexist. Rachel's death was a pivotal moment for Jacob. She was buried on the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem, and Jacob set up a pillar to mark her grave. Genesis 35:19-20. This pillar stood as a lasting tribute to the profound love they shared and the deep loss he felt. It was a reminder of the transient nature of life and the enduring impact of those we hold dear. As Jacob mourned Rachel, he was also surrounded by his growing family, the sons of Israel, who would become the 12 tribes. Each son carried with him a piece of the legacy that Jacob and Rachel crafted together. It is through these sons that the promise to Abraham continued, shaping the destiny of a nation. In reflecting on this part of Jacob's journey, we are reminded of the duality present in our own lives. Love and loss are intertwined, each shaping us in profound ways. Rachel's passing teaches us that even in the depths of sorrow, there is the promise of something greater, a future that is being woven through our experiences. As we walk our own paths, may we find comfort in the knowledge that our journeys, like Jacob's, are guided by a divine hand, leading us toward the fulfillment of promises we may not yet fully understand. Let us embrace both the love and the loss, knowing that they are integral threads in the beautiful tapestry of our lives. Number 7. A dream fulfilled. The family of Israel and the seeds of a nation. As we reach this pivotal moment in Jacob's journey, we witness the unfolding of a dream that was once just a whisper in the night. Jacob, now renamed Israel, stands as the patriarch of a burgeoning family that will become the nation of Israel. This transformation from a single man with a divine promise to the father of 12 sons is nothing short of miraculous, a testament to God's faithfulness and the realization of his promises. Jacob's family, with all its complexities, is a tapestry woven with threads of love, conflict, and redemption. His 12 sons, each with their unique paths, form the tribes of Israel, laying the foundation for a nation that will carry forward God's covenant. It is in these familial bonds, fraught with tension yet bound by destiny, that we see the seeds of a nation beginning to take root. Consider the story of Joseph, Jacob's beloved son. His journey from the depths of a pit to the heights of power in Egypt is a remarkable narrative of God's providence. Joseph's ability to interpret dreams, a gift from God, becomes the instrument through which he saves not only his family but also an entire region from famine. In Genesis 50:20, Joseph reflects on his journey, saying, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." This powerful statement captures the essence of God's ability to bring good out of the darkest situations, a theme that resonates throughout Jacob's story. Through Joseph's trials and triumphs, we see the fulfillment of the dream that began with Jacob's vision of the ladder to heaven. It is a reminder that God's plans are often beyond our understanding, but they are always perfect in their timing and purpose. The reunion of Jacob's family in Egypt, despite the years of separation and sorrow, is a poignant moment of reconciliation and a prelude to the greater story of the Israelites' journey. Jacob's life, marked by divine encounters and personal struggles, culminates in the blessing of his sons. In Genesis 49, Jacob gathers them to offer a prophetic glimpse into their futures, each blessing revealing the unique role they will play in the unfolding narrative of God's people. This act of blessing is not just a father's farewell, but a declaration of faith in God's promises and a handing down of the covenant to the next generation. As we reflect on Jacob's legacy, we are reminded of the power of faith and perseverance. His journey teaches us that dreams, when aligned with divine purpose, have the power to transcend generations. The family of Israel, born from Jacob's lineage, becomes a beacon of hope and a testament to the enduring nature of God's covenant. In our own lives, we are invited to embrace the dreams God plants within us, trusting that He will fulfill them in His perfect way and time. Just as Jacob's story is woven into the fabric of a greater narrative, so too are our lives part of God's magnificent tapestry, where every thread has its place and purpose. Conclusion: embracing our own journey. Lessons from the life of Jacob. The life of Jacob is a profound tapestry of struggle, transformation, and divine encounter. His journey, marked by familial conflict, divine visions, and personal transformation, mirrors the spiritual pilgrimage that many of us embark upon. From the very beginning, Jacob's story is one of striving, wrestling with his brother Esau for a birthright, wrestling with God for a blessing, and ultimately wrestling with his own identity and purpose. Jacob's vision of the ladder at Bethel, where angels ascended and descended between heaven and earth, serves as a powerful reminder of God's promise and presence. It is here that he learns he is not alone in his journey, for the Lord is with him wherever he goes. As it is written, "I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." Genesis 28:15. The turning point in Jacob's life comes during the night he wrestles with God at Peniel. This encounter leaves him with a new name, Israel, symbolizing his transformation from a deceiver to one who strives with God and men and prevails. It is a testament to the power of divine encounters to reshape our identity and destiny. Jacob's reconciliation with Esau is a poignant reflection on the power of forgiveness and healing. Despite years of enmity, the brothers embrace, reminding us that reconciliation is possible, even in the face of deep-seated animosity. But Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Genesis 33:4. Throughout his life, Jacob remains a man of faith, building altars and renewing covenants with God. His journey is marked by both loss and love, as seen in the passing of his beloved Rachel and the continuation of his lineage through his sons, the forebears of the 12 tribes of Israel. In reflecting on Jacob's life, we are reminded of the intricate weave of human frailty, divine grace, and the transformative power of faith. His story encourages us to embrace our own journeys with courage and trust in the divine promises that guide us. As we navigate our paths, may we hold fast to the lessons from Jacob's life. The importance of seeking God's presence, the courage to confront our struggles, the grace to forgive, and the faith to believe in a promise yet fulfilled. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5. May Jacob's journey inspire us to embrace our own, knowing that, like him, we are never alone, for God walks with us every step of the way.